Subtle skills, big results.
Welcome to the Ninja Selling Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's your good friend Eric Thompson. I am president of Ninja Coaching. This is the Ninja Selling Podcast. Everyone, I'm so looking forward to this one, and thank you for engaging. As always, I'm here with two world-class ninjas from New Orleans. I'm here with Joe Robert and Brett Blanchard. Joe and Brett, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
We're thrilled to be here.
Happy to be here.
Loving our time.
Fantastic. We are happy to have you here. You are the NOLA Property Guys, and you're with a great company called Reve Real Estate in New Orleans. And why don't we start with, before we really dig in, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, include your ninja story in that, and also we're curious to know how you started working together as a team. So could you give us a little background?
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and start. I was, working for a larger company in the New Orleans area. And then, of course, I switched over to a boutique, and I was really getting into the business. I had done the Ninja installation with the larger company. And then again, I think I got a little bit too ego driven in my business and started to believe that it was me that was the cause for success and not the system. And so when I left the Ninja path behind for a bit when I went to the new agency, and things were getting busier. I was still doubling my business and things were going well. And I believed that I was at a choke point. So I said, well, the natural thing is to bring someone on to help me with this business so I can break through to the next level, not even looking at the fact that I had kind of abandoned the Ninja path. And so that's actually how, everything happens for a reason though, right? And so I'm glad that my path was kind of disjointed because it led me to this beautiful partnership that I have today with Brett. And so I'll let Brett kind of talk from his side of how he found me, and then we ended up together.
I moved to New Orleans with no job and then had every job under the sun. And then one day I was like, I think I want to show houses and help people find a house. So I got my license, joined a large company in New Orleans. I didn't know what I was doing, lost as a goose. And then I finally found Joe and a few of his colleagues on Instagram. I stalked them. They stalked me. I show up at one of their open houses and we all acted like we didn't know each other, but we did. And I quickly joined their company because I realized that I was trying to dress up every day and they were wearing like jeans and shorts and still doing the same job that I was doing. And that's way more my style. So within 2 weeks of meeting you, I joined. Yeah. I was like, well, these guys are fun. Let's do this. And it was January of 2019.
Yep.
And then by March, we were a team. And then by that summer, he was like, oh, we're doing this Ninja thing. And I just, once again, didn't know my right from my left. And I said, okay, let's go.
So yeah,
we was down for an adventure, and here we are.
And here you are doing the Ninja thing.
Yeah, been together for 5.5 years now. And we recommitted to the Ninja system because I realized after our first 6 months together when we ended the year, and I'd only hit the same number that I did before, like maybe it's actually not grabbing another person that's going to get me to the next level. It's going to be this system that got me to the next level originally that's going to continue to take me to the next level.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so we're going to theme this, everyone. We're theming this, how to grow market share in a down market, because that's exactly what the two of you are doing. And what I know is that even if someone's listening is not on a team or has not teamed up with someone else, they can still absolutely do the things that they're about to hear. And I think people who are on some form of a team will be curious to know how you work together as a team. So those are the things we're going to cover here as we go along. So we're going to now get into We're going to get into what's working. We're really curious to know what's working in your business. How are you growing market share in a down market? I'll quickly share some numbers. So last year, the two of you, bravo, had an incredible year. You did 15 million in volume, helped out a lot of people. It's fantastic. This year, by the way, where we are recording this in very early August, you're already close to what you did last year. So this year, you've closed so far 12 million. So you're on pace for sure to outpace last year. So congrats, bravo on that. So now it begs kind of the obvious question. What are you doing? What are the things that are really working for you right now? Joe, I'm going to have you start because as we were prepping for this, you had something really interesting to say about energy. So tell us what's working for you there.
So absolutely. I mean, first of all, I just want to say that we recommitted at the end of the year to really kind of take a deep dive into our systems, the way we've run a business, and really just kind of prepare for the new year. So one of the beautiful things that Ninja does is it basically puts your year in review, right? And then you get to do your business plan and you finish that out at the end of next year so you can have a very, very successful new year. And instead of, getting off the path or thinking about a million other distractions, we have really stuck to that plan. It started with Brett going to his first actual live Ninja installation last November. We all went, and we really came with this revitalized energy. And so talking about energy, there's a part in that Ninja business plan that what were your energy drainers? And I had never looked at it before. I was never like, what does this mean? Right. And then we really took a deep dive. Like, what things have we been doing that did not work? What was taking too much of our time? What can we commit to doing differently? What are we going to stop doing? What are we going to start doing? And so what it really came down to is, of course, like, right? The system works when you work the system. So working more into that, doubling down on those pieces and letting go of the things that you cannot control. There are so many things that you can't control. Why am I paying attention to the rates every day? Why am I paying attention to the news media disparaging the real estate industry? Why am I paying attention to all the noise around me whenever I can just know that the things that I can control are the things that are in my business, helping people, taking care of people making their largest investments, and really, making sure that our community is taken care of. So that was the first thing we started with, for sure.
Yeah, that's terrific. Such a good takeaway. Focusing on things that you can control are the things that actually build your energy, the things out of your control, the things that drain your energy. You got really intentional about that. And I should have mentioned at the beginning, the two of you, thank you, are two of our coaching clients. You coach with Mark Johnson, and part of that process is going through that business plan and
he's the third member of the team.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Mark is the third member of the team. You're your Ninja coach. Okay, so that's a takeaway for everyone. What are the things draining your energy? Stop doing those things. Put those on the stop doing list. Really commit to those things within your control. Okay, Brett, how about you? What comes up for you as you think about what's really working for the two of you in your business right now?
What's working for us and what's always kind of worked, and I guess this is more specifically on teams, is we have two totally different personalities. I mean, we're both silly and creative, and we like to run with that and do things not normally at all, which tends to gain business for us. But we just know our strengths and weaknesses of, you're handling that, I'm handling this, you talk to that person better, I can handle this situation better. We do that a lot. And that really tends to help us out. And like, as a solo agent, I feel like you could just recognize where you're better at those things and like ask for help where you could improve of those going down that path. So I think that's been a huge help for us. And then just a note on energy drainers, kind of circling back to that, we just kind of realized, we were spending so much time with this person or doing this thing. And if we spent that same amount of time writing more notes or calling different clients, we would have probably been more productive doing that than putting all this time and effort in going down this path with this person who really doesn't know what they want and still to this day doesn't know what they want. So it was a lot of like graphs and charts and writing down like, we spend time here, we don't spend time here. I'm a visual person. So writing everything down and making charts, that's why I love the funnel process so much, because I get to write it out. But that's just been a big, huge change.
Yeah, so it's like a double benefit. You save yourself the time from not investing time in a person or an effort that's not going to go anywhere, and you get the payoff from putting that same energy into something that is going to work out.
Yeah.
And Brett's love language is not words of affirmation, so he's going to hate for me to say this, but when he talks about strengths and weaknesses, he's not always the person that can't turn a weakness into a strength, right? So I think that a lot of times he just didn't understand it as much, was afraid to ask. And then that we spent the time breaking it down. Why are you avoiding these things? And calls were a thing that Brett was avoiding last year, right? And he went to the Ninja installation and it really just, light bulb for you. Tell him what you were telling us earlier.
I was running so far and fast away from calls every day. I was like, oh my God, I'm hungry. I'm going to lunch. Oh my God, I need to go do this. But the biggest light bulb was that the person you're calling, your client or whoever it is not scared of a phone call. You are scared to make the phone call. So they're not going to be like spooked when you call them, because when people call you, I get excited. Or when people send me a note, I get excited. So people think about me and want to reach out to me, by all means do so. And I just turned that mindset around of like, just call them, because they won't, if they don't want to answer, they're not going to answer. Leave them a message, shoot them a text after, whatever, but just make the effort. And then after you've made your calls, you're like, dang, I did that. And you feel great.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just
So don't run fast.
Sometimes it's as simple as turning that negative self-talk, like we were talking in the classes, turn that negative self-talk into a positive mirror of that, right? What's the other side of it? And once you start to do that and put that into your reticular activating system and think through those things, then it really makes that a little bit more smooth for you.
Brett, when you shared that when we were preparing for this podcast, that it's not them that's scared, it's us that's scared.
Mm-hmm.
They're not scared to get the call. We're scared to make the call. That was such a good aha, such a good takeaway.
Yeah.
Like you said, they are at a minimum curious, maybe excited. They're not scared to see your name on the caller ID. So we need to think about them and how they're going to feel about this call and just get over it, right? Is your point, get over the fear and just make the call, and people are delighted by it.
And also just like another thing that helped me was I'm big on social media. So maybe seeing that this person just went on a trip, you're like, oh, I have at least a point to talk about, where you're not just like calling in the blue, just be like, hey, what's up? You're like, oh my God, how was your trip? Tell me everything about it. And then it just goes into natural forward after that. So having a point, like write your list, write a point of contact or a point of conversation per person, and just go from there.
Just go for it.
Yeah, and just let it happen.
So phone calls are working.
Yes.
That's one way that you are gaining market share in a down market. Okay, Joe, tell us about doubling down. So you that's a big thing on your mind right now.
So it's just always been an aha moment for me. When you hear about people that are growing in a down market, one of the big themes of last year is growing your market share during a down market. And on its surface, it's like, I get chills like even talking about it because I'm such a nerd, but it's like, you think about it and you think, how can I possibly do this? Right? How can I possibly gain market share? But it goes to show this year in our market, the transactions in our market are actually down more this year than they were last year, even though we're technically in a recovery of that market. Yet we are already only 3 million shy of what we did all year last year. So big opportunity. We probably may even double what we did last year. So, the proof's in the pudding, doubling your market share. And like, how do you do that? It's because you redouble your efforts, right? If you were going to call 50 people and have 4 conversations, why don't we call 50 people and then maybe have a get together at your house? I have a pool. Pretty easy for me to throw some burgers on the grill. Why would I not invite those people? And then I have 40 live interactions at my house, right? Touches, making sure that people know that you're there for them, that they're a part of your community and you're a part of theirs, right? We always say our vibe, our tribe. We're putting out our vibe and we're gaining our tribe, right? And so that's what we're doubling down on, is we're going out there and we're doubling that vibe out to the universe, and we're going to pick up that tribe. So write more notes. People love getting mail, right? Do more real estate reviews. I'm going to throw it out there. 2 a week, not enough. Do 4.
There it is. There's a challenge, everyone. Do 4. But so let's talk about real estate review. So that's something that obviously talked about a lot in Ninja. It's one of the Ninja 9. Some people have, let's say, resistance to that, but your experience is those are absolutely working for you, doing real estate reviews.
100%. I mean, it is so much fun to do them because you get to go over to the house that you sold someone most of the time, and you get to see how they've personalized the house. They get to give you a tour of what they've done, how they're so proud. It's their biggest asset. You're catching up with your friend. Almost all of it is just catching up and forward. And then like this 3-minute segment is about their house and the market, right?
Right.
And you give them the information, and it's just such a powerful tool. And, there's all these statistics, 33% of the time it results in some form of business, either referral, direct business. But I say it and I say it again. I've said it the last time I was a guest. You help 100% of the time, right? So if we're always helping, who cares about anything else that happens? It's going to happen naturally, right?
It's a win every time.
It's a win every single time. You might help them decrease their insurance that they didn't know that they needed to, or increase their coverage. They may have a rattling AC. You can help them with that. They may need, some advice on remodeling a bathroom, or they may have a friend that was curious about their house's value that, boom, all of a sudden you're going over to their house and you're doing a full pre-list, right? And that's the 33% of the time, but 100% of the time, there's somewhere to help.
Yes. I love that.
And I have a suggestion for the folks like me that like to run away from everything that's productive, because I tend to do that. But with real estate reviews, when I was going to do them, it was like a huge daunting mountain to me to climb. I was like, this is like not going to be fun, like to actually do them, not to go meet with the client in person. So once again, Joe was like, why do you hate this? And so we talked about it. So what I did was I went in, took a couple hours one day and went ahead and made a template for every zip code and neighborhood that we've ever sold in or that we probably will, to where now it's just plug and play. It takes us probably 8 minutes to do a real estate review.
Perfect.
Or less.
Or less. It's so simple now. It's like plug and play, find the numbers, use the sites you need. I already have the neighborhood, the info, the photos, all the things per neighborhood. Boom, open it, change the name, the house picture, done.
And we are big believers in R&D, rip off and duplicate. So if anybody wants to see what we do, we'll just send it over to you.
Thank you for that. That's a true ninja. You're willing to share. I love it. I love it. Okay. So you're doing these in person. You follow the ninja method of doing them in person. Walk us through how you make the invitation or how you reach out to the person in your sphere to set that appointment.
It's just part of our forward calls. Honestly, it just kind of comes up that way. And then we just go and hang out. And of like the 30 minutes we hang out, we probably talk about the real estate review for 4 of those minutes. It's never really about that. It's like they're excited to see how their house is doing, because nobody's ever going to say, no, don't come tell me how my investment's doing. So it's always pretty easy to get in, just hang. We do lunches a lot, like we'll just bring them lunch to their house. And
that's
do
an
it
easy thing.
Over lunch.
You're bringing a gift, the gift of food. You know what I mean? In New Orleans, that's a love language, right? And so for us, the other thing too is, I used to be, Brett gets annoyed with me because like I want to keep redoing until it gets more and more perfect, right? And what ninjas always talk about is perfection is the enemy of the good, right? If it's good, then let it be good. Nothing has to be perfect and nothing ever is. So once we realize that, just putting these together and not psyching ourselves out like, oh, what's the system? Do we call 2 weeks before their anniversary to do this? And we were overthinking everything. If someone's on your mind, give them a call, right? And one of the things that we've been doing to get more in person is we have a list of maybe 10 people that we should do a real estate review for, that week that would fit into somewhere around their anniversary. And we just call and we say, hey, actually in 2 hours, I'm about to go grab lunch and bring it back to the office, but I could actually grab lunch and just bring it to your house if you're there. Would it be cool if I came by? And I would like to, just share with you the real estate review, because again, we talked to you about this being a part of what we do for you. So I'd love to come over, see your house, see what you've done with the place, and tell you how your biggest asset's doing.
Love it. Super easy, very ninja, not threatening. It's perfect. Earlier, you touched on notes. So handwritten notes, something else that's really working for you. Can you tell us more about that? Tell us more about your
I love writing notes. I just love it. Even if it's 2 sentences, 3 sentences, it doesn't matter. Write the dang note, send the note. They will love it. Once again, you have a reason to call after you write the note. So no complaining there. And we were talking today about it, or yesterday, there's a box on Amazon of colored cards and envelopes, and we match people's personality to the colors of the note. Or after we send, like we went to lunch with a lender of ours and I was wearing a salmon shirt and she joked that it was Power Salmon. So obviously we sent her the note on the salmon card and called it the Power Salmon card. So just jokes like that. Like if their house is blue, use the blue card. If, whatever you think about. So we do that a lot and nobody ever gets mad. If you want to be fun, throw some confetti in it if you really want to get them. Because I've done that. When I first became a realtor, by the way, I'll tell this. When I first got my license, I got 2 business cards. And what else did I put in there? I got my mom and dad's Christmas card list. As many people I can think of their address. I sent a card to put on their fridge, 2 business cards, and I filled it, not all the way, but with star glitter in the cards. And I had so many people like call and complain about it, but I got to talk to them. So if you want to get people's attention, put glitter in your cards.
And the biggest thing too, it's funny, we still get calls from people to this day that say, thank you so much for the card and thank you so much that there's no glitter in it. So
it's more of a surprise that there's not.
Yeah. And I think, just adding to that, when someone's on your heart, it's for a reason, right? And so sometimes that person's on your heart and maybe a phone call feels too daunting, right? but maybe like putting down what's in your heart on that paper feels like a truer form of communication. And it gives you time to relieve that stress of, oh, I haven't talked to them in a while. You send them a note and then they give you a call, right? And then you've really, really established that great connection. But there's so many reasons to write people a note. We say that everyone is our client, right? Not just our client. So the home inspector is a client, the lender is a client, the title company is a client. And when you think of that and everybody is your community, and you think of that world of abundance and you say, thank God you're here. I couldn't have possibly done this without you. Then you have so many reasons to write notes and so many reasons to be grateful.
Yeah. And brighten their day, brighten their mailbox with a colored note card. I can only imagine how great that looks when someone's grabbing their stack of mail.
It's like a birthday invitation.
Or the bills in the white envelope. And then there's the power salmon.
Yeah. We have one client that has literally saved every piece of mail we've ever sent. And she's our strongest referral partner. She refers maybe 8 people a year to us. And when they come over to our house, she pulls out the stack and she said, this is how much they care.
Oh, that's terrific. I love that. Okay. Shifting gears a little bit, something fun to talk about. Tell us about the vibe check. All right. So you taught me just recently about your vibe check and how you explain this to your buyers. So tell us all about that.
Okay, so the vibe check saves you so much time as a realtor, and it's the second tier of the funnel process, which I personally call the funnel of fun, unless we did have one client who was very serious and he did not find it funny that I called it the funnel of fun, but lesson learned there. I guess I should have done my own vibe check on that before I walked in the room, but the vibe check is, of course, in New Orleans, everything's a vibe to us. So it's street to street, block to block. You never really know where a house is per the photo of like, if it's next to a burning field of tires, we always kind of joke about that. So we always suggest that once you go through your online list of what was sent to you through the MLS, all the ones you're interested in, go drive by and do the vibe check. If you have a dog, if you walk your cat, if you have kids, bring them at 5:30, 6 o'clock when you get home, or in the morning when you would be outside, and go walk around. If the neighbors are on their front porch, which they often are in New Orleans, see if they wave back to you. If they don't, maybe that's not your tribe. Maybe that's not your block. So like I bought a house 2 doors down from a corner grocery. Normally they're loud and they like to have a good time and hang out whenever. But I found out that they close at 5 every day because that's the vibe of the block. You can have fun during the day, but not at night. And I'm like, okay, great. I did my own vibe check and it's not been an issue in the 4 years that I've lived there. That's a big component to us for them to weed out themselves the homes from the street that they don't like. And then we go in the ones they want.
Yeah. And just going to kind of, drill down on it a little bit further, the amount of time you spend in your preparation for the event basically pays dividends on the back end, right? So when you have the buyer's process, you spend the hour talking to them about how everything is going to go. You get their buy-in, and then we say we're giving you homework, right? Like this is a 2-way street. We're not going to hop in a car and go look at 20 cars because we're going to be best friends at the end of this. The easiest way for us to not be best friends is for us to be in a car all day and look at 20 houses together. Okay. Because it'll be as clear as mud, right? We want clarity, not confusion in this business. And so part of that clarity is that they get to create their own clarity by doing their own homework. And so, drive-by seemed just it wasn't our energy. So we just changed it to the vibe check. So, and that's everything. Vibes are everything in our business. Vibrations are everything in Ninja. So we truly believe that the vibe check is a big part. It's 80% of what someone wants to see and knowing where they're going to live. It's about not only the house that you're in, but the community that surrounds you.
Yeah. And you give them permission to do that. And they want to do that anyway. They want to be checking the vibes so that now they have permission. They have instructions. They have homework to go do that. So good. I have one more unscripted question to ask you, but I'll just say this has been fantastic so far. So many nuggets, so many takeaways. Bravo on your success. So here's the fun question. If someone's going to visit New Orleans, tell us one place that they definitely have to visit, and then also one dish that they absolutely have to eat.
We don't have the time. We don't have the time. One place and dish?
Yeah, one place and one dish.
So I would say one place that I want people to visit and really expand their mindset on it, because people all think that Bourbon Street is the French Quarter. And look, I love being a tourist in my own town. There's nothing wrong with Bourbon Street, but the French Quarter is just one of the most historically significant places on earth. Okay. It is an ancient part of America. There are buildings there from the 1700s, right? There's such a rich history there. The entire quarter burned down in 1830 was rebuilt by the Spanish, right? So the French Quarter actually has more Spanish architecture than French architecture, which is mind-blowing to think about, right?
I did not know that. I never knew that.
It should be called the Spanish Quarter.
Yeah.
I also used to be a tour guide, so if y'all come, holler at me. I got you.
We're ambassadors of the city, but I think that you should really think through that piece and understand the rich history. And the fact that we were an accidental city, it's just a hub and a spoke. Things just started going out with no plan, and it's just, it helps you understand the rich history and the reason why the people are the way that they are. The reason why everyone is so nice. The reason why you'll get stopped on a street, talk to a stranger and leave with a friend after 30 minutes. It all starts with that history. And the easiest way to get that understanding is the quarter. As far as a dish, we're going to differ from here because tell us yours and I'll go with mine.
Okay. My restaurant suggestion is Peche, spelled Peche. It's in the CBD, the Central Business District. And if you go there and do not get the seafood platter and the seafood gumbo, don't talk to me.
Okay. The seafood platter, the seafood gumbo.
Yeah, the platter has shrimp, oysters, and 3 different seafood salads on it. And then the bowl of seafood gumbo, it is the best seafood gumbo you will ever eat.
The problem with me asking this question is I'm starving as we're talking right now, and I just got more starving. So
yeah, and I think for me, honestly, I was surprised. I'm not surprised, but the gumbo for us is just, it's such a cultural thing. It warms your heart. It warms your soul. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful dish, and it has such a diaspora attached to it. It really explains, right, the gumbo of the city, right? All different people from so many different places live there. We're such an international place, and we're such a huge city, but a small town, right? And so gumbo as a dish describes us as people. So I'd say gumbo as well.
I love it. Great answers. Great takeaways from today. We so appreciate it, Joe and Brett. So everyone, again, it's Joe Robert, Brett Blanchard from Reve Real Estate. They are the NOLA Property Guys. Thank you for being Ninja Coaching clients. Thank you for your commitment to Ninja and for helping all the Ninja Nation with all the inspiration and learning today. We so appreciate it. Everyone, thank you so much for engaging with the podcast. As always, we look forward to connecting with you on the next one. Take care.
If you enjoyed this episode, visit us at theninjasellingpodcast.com to learn more about ninja selling classes and coaching to get you started or further your journey on the ninja path.
Thank you for joining us. Now go have an incredible day.